everyone, friends of all ages. Welcome to Her Journey, Her Strength, where we shine a light on awesome women and hear their voices. I'm Serena. Today we have an amazing artist who mixes her European roots with her life in LA, mixing architecture and art in the most creative way. She has exhibited her work around the world. She's constantly exploring new possibilities across different creative roles. She's a designer, an architect, a teacher, you name it, and definitely a rising star in the art world. Please give a big welcome to Angelica Lorenzi. So, Angelica, could you give us a brief intro for anyone who might not know you yet?
Sure. I'm Angelica Lorenzi. I am an artist, a designer, and a teacher, and I'm currently based here in Los Angeles.
So, what made you decide to shift your focus from architecture to art?
You know, art and architecture has always inherently been bound to each other. But since I moved to the United States in 2018, after I graduated from the University of Architecture in Vienna, I moved here because I was offered a teaching position at this university called SCI-Arc, Southern California Institute of Architecture. And you know, teaching was something kind of like unexpected. It wasn't something on my radar, but I thought it was quite a unique experience and opportunity. So I decided to move to Los Angeles. I was on a visa, and that visa allowed me only to work for the university, and I kind of lost a little bit touch from the architectural world in terms of like practice. And you know, after a while, you know, teaching for like years to the students, I felt this call really back to I wanted to create. I wanted to make things myself again, and because of the visa, I wasn't really allowed to work as an architect. So I decided to, you know, scale down and work on some like small objects. Actually, kind of like started off with table lamp. You know, you always start from like something that you need.
Simple, like,
and
functional.
Exactly. And so I started making again, and it felt really good. I also really appreciated going back to having like hands-on on projects and not really like being so digital. From one object, I started making more, and then I had this opportunity to show my work at an art fair here in Los Angeles, Spring Show LA. It went pretty well, and I think that gave me, you know, another push to think, okay, that's something I could maybe pursue and go on with. And slowly I kind of like started moving a little bit more towards the art world.
I'm glad that like everything went well in the past few years for your architecture and art journey. I believe your multicultural background brings a unique depth to your work, especially from architecture to your art journey. So what kind of meaning do you hope to express in your artwork?
My background, I spent, you know, about 20 years in Italy, and then I moved to Austria, stayed there for like about 8 years, and then moved to the United States. Definitely kind of like the three cultures come together, and all three taught me.
Awesome.
And I think with my work, the main topic I'm really interested in is nature. And thinking what you know, nature means to us. Oftentimes we think that we are somehow detached from it. We are kind of like part of a different world, even though we are nature too. And with my work, I'm really trying to explore ways of how can we relate back to an idea of nature. How do we gain again an idea of like respect? Usually, you know, we respect something that we think we belong to, something that we think it's close to us. And so I try to work through that idea in my work. And I also, you know, nature is very complex, of course, and that very much so. And so that idea of working with multiple layers in my work, with like a lot of like stratifications, really speaks to that idea that if we really want to understand something, it's you kind of like have to take the time, and I really
Yeah,
love
totally.
when people kind of like spend time to look at the work in a way that really try to kind of like go beyond just the surface of it,
Yeah.
and really start to kind of like question themselves and question what is the relationship with nature.
Yes. I like the idea of especially your concept of nature, and we should think of we're part of the nature, and there's something that related to, and like, something we see every day, and we are in the nature every day too. Yeah, so that's a very powerful idea, and it also makes me want to ask you, what does success mean to you personally?
Well, I would define success in two different ways depending on which kind of like career we're talking about. In my academic career, I think that I feel a very successful teacher whenever I see my students really trying to break the boundaries. And we live in a world where we are very much subjected to defaults and kind of like stereotypes and an idea
I do
of
agree.
and an idea of like globalization is good, but we are kind of like experiencing a little bit of a shallow globalization where everything really becomes a little bit plain. And so I really appreciate when I see my students really taking the risk to come up with something that is a little bit more unique, even though it might be harder,
important.
to go for that idea. And so whenever they do it, and whenever they show me and tell me that they are hopeful about the future, that makes me incredibly happy. And then when we talk about my own, success in terms of like my art career, I feel very successful, whenever the audience really can read in my work what I can't quite express in a verbal way. As an artist, you're often asked to kind of like talk about your work, but there are certain things that they cannot be expressed, I think, through your voice, or at least not in my case. I'm mainly like a visual artist, so I work with images, I work with objects. And so when the audience can really read through that, and that makes me incredibly happy.
Got it. And talking with you, I can really feel your inner strength. And I'd love to hear that this is not something about like outside recognition, but something that really reflects who you are through your art journey. I want to ask you, what keeps you motivated through your art journey?
Well, I keep multiple journals to-do lists. I have one on my notes on my phone. I have one on me on my computer, and I have, of course, the just handwritten ones on my sketchbook. And whenever I see something that really inspires me, or whenever there is something that catches my attention, I write it down. I know that I have a limited amount of time. The day has like 24 hours, and I know that I just put it down, and I have all of these lists of like, I want to do a concrete bench. I want to try out to make that kind of vase. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so whenever I find kind of like stuck, I definitely go back at those lists and pick from there. And then I also like to do sometimes do chores and like. Do those kind of things that don't really require too much like mental attention, but actually it's a good way to create that space for like thinking about something else. I don't know. I'm ironing for an hour, I'm ironing clothes. And during that time, like, okay, actually I could start working on this and this and that, or I start connecting ideas from different references that I've been looking at.
That's such a good idea. I might just do it next time I need to I should try to like writing down all my ideas whenever I find something interesting, and keep everything in a note. So whenever I want to like look at it, I can just always go back and see all the ideas in the past. Yeah, those are such helpful little tips, and thank you for sharing all these. And I'm curious, what would you say are the key skills that help you grow the most?
You always have to believe to your kind of like inner strength, and I believe a lot into the intuition that somebody has. I think that somebody really needs to follow that. I think that trying to be open to whatever comes in without
Yes.
trying to filter too much. It's very important too. I think that as humans we tend to kind of like push back a little bit when we see or we are confronted with something that is either different or new.
Yes.
And just like having or like holding a space for that and just giving it a little bit of time to absorb it and observe it, I think it's a very powerful strength to have.
Like observe it, process it, and understand it more. Yes.
Without judging too fast.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. And you seem really brave in facing life challenges. What would you like to say to inspire other women?
I would always say if there is a risk, take it. Unless it's too much of a risk. But when it's one that it's can bring something positive,
Yes.
go for it. I would also really suggest to stick together. That's like an experience that I had myself, and I've been working in like different contexts and different situations.
Yeah.
And I think that working with other women really makes the journey very pleasant. There is some sort of like mutual understanding
Definitely.
and mutual support
Yeah.
that I think it's quite unique. I would also, tell women to keep believing in themselves, even if they feel there is a
That's the key.
a pushback. It goes back to that idea of like having a sort of like an instinct or having kind of like a good feeling about something, and even if people might turn your idea down, try to go with it and try to fight for your ideas, which it doesn't mean to kind of like bring any violence on the table. It's really about fighting in the sense of like being there to kind of like support what you want to do, and like being fighting in the sense of like being strategic, and how can you achieve something in the kind of like fastest way or the way that kind of like takes the least amount of energy out of you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you said about positivity. It always comes first. And what you said about women's helping women, that's also what we've been trying to do as Hearst Foundation. And we're here to help more girls in this world with their educational potential. This is very thoughtful advice for all the women. Building on that, what kind of world do you hope that the next generation of women want to grow up in?
So I think we already like achieved a lot more freedom.
Of course.
Especially if we compare us with the generation of our mothers or our grandmothers. But in a way that right now we kind of like get to do everything and added on top of what we were already doing before. And in a way, I'm hoping for the future of women to be more supported, for sure, more supported with their time and the kind of like the dedication they have towards embracing so many different activities at the same time, giving them that support that really would help them to live a life where there isn't too much on the plate, where much stress it's taken a little bit out of the game.
Yeah, that's also what I've been thinking about, what I want to live as a woman. I'm a woman too, so I hope that kind of world that you're talking about is going to arrive soon, and I hope to see it in my own eyes. So do you mind to share, like, with parents for how to inspire their kids' love for art and creativity?
I've had this teacher of mine who told me that the first form of architecture is actually observing. And I think, that resonated with me a lot, thinking that even with kids, the first thing that you want to kind of like teach your kids is really like how to observe the world. Nowadays, we are exposed to million images.
Yes.
We are constantly kind of like bombarded by kind of like visual content.
Yeah,
but
especially with AI, they're
Totally.
a lot. Yeah.
Totally. But most of the time, we are kind of like these passive observers. And I
True.
think learning how to be an active observer, it's something very important. You know, even, you know, you walk out the street, you go from your house to school.
Yeah.
And if you were to, you know, ask a kid of like, what do you see? Do you see a yellow house? Do you see, I don't know, what time does the bus comes by?
Yeah.
And what's the name of the tree? What's the name of that animal? They're kind of like connecting ourselves to the present reality and being able to fully understand what is the context that surrounds us. I think that definitely sparks the curiosity. Because usually when you start to learn something, that is going to be the drive that is going to bring your curiosity towards something else.
Yeah. Observing is definitely the key for kids to learn how to find beautiful things in this world. So I think observing is definitely the foundation for them to be more artistic, to learn creativity. Now it's the time for a fun little hangout. We got our amazing guest Angelica joining our group of curious kids for a laid-back chat. No pressure, just good vibes, real talk, and a few laughs, and maybe even some surprises. Let's see what happens when grown-ups and kids mix it up.
Hi, I'm Angelica. What's your name?
I'm Nicholas. I'm Austin. I'm Vera.
I'm Serena. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. Today we're going to dive into a fun topic, beauty. And the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is the most beautiful place you have been to?
In my opinion, the most beautiful place I've ever been to is a swan lake.
Beautiful.
In
What
my
about you?
in my opinion, it's a river.
A river?
Yeah.
Nice.
My opinion is like a rose garden because it has flowers
Beautiful.
and smells good, and there's different types of color of it.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And speaking of colors, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue and red.
Nice choice.
Same. Favorite color is purple, pink, and blue.
Cute.
Purple is also my favorite color.
Light light pink, light purple, and light blue.
Beautiful. And do you think that nature is beautiful? Who likes to be in nature?
Me.
I love it. Which kind of nature? Do we like the mountains more? Do we like the ocean? Do we like the beach?
Does virtual stuff count?
Definitely, it does.
garden.
Yes.
It counts.
Okay. So, which kind of virtual space do you like?
Fruits.
Fruits?
Same.
Okay.
Probably like the beach. Because
Nice choice.
you could sit in it, look at the view, or hear the oceans, or swim in it too.
That is so beautiful. I like that too.
I like going to beach too.
We are lucky
Yeah.
in Los Angeles. We can go to the beach whenever we want to. And what do you think is the most beautiful animal?
In my opinion, it's deer. Cats, because they're like really clean.
Oh, yes.
Do you have a cat?
I wish I could.
I have 3 cats.
So
Wow.
lucky. So lucky.
Yeah, they're very sweet.
I wish I could even have one single cat.
You can come to my place and spend time with them if you want to. They're really fun. I also love the answer deer. I think it's a very special animal. What's your favorite animal?
I would say either dog or cat because I do have 2 dogs at home.
So you're a dog person.
Because I already had 2 dogs, so I prefer to have a cat at home. Because like it's like less efforts
Yeah,
than like taking care of a dog.
Totally. What do you think is the most beautiful building? It can be any, from the grocery store all the way to
Mine's like-
a museum.
I don't know
You
like
know.
where it exactly is. but, like,
Airport.
I always like seem to like go from it. It's like a building. It's like triangles that like look like mirrors.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Where is that?
I don't know, but it's like near.
Here in Los Angeles?
Yeah, it's like
Huh.
I think San Gabriel,
Wow.
the outside.
We have to find out what that place is because it sounds really fabulous. I want to see it.
In my opinion, I just like the Empire State Building.
Have you been there? Have you seen it in person?
No.
Oh, you should go.
My first, like, in Japan, there's like those buildings, like the olden days, or like there's houses and then has these decorations, like lanterns that light up in the nighttime, and then when it snows, it's like really beautiful.
Oh, that sounds really, really beautiful.
That sounds beautiful.
I want to see all of these places.
Wow, what a ride! Angelica and the kids just took us on an amazing deep dive into the world of beauty. And honestly, some of those answers totally blew my mind. Hope you're feeling just as inspired. All right, now let's switch it up and hear some questions from our young friends.
Hi, Angelica. When you're running low on energy, what would you do to make yourself feel refreshed again?
Usually, that's the time when I decide to go back to Italy and spend some time with my family. That's usually a really great time for, go and see some exhibitions in Italy or go to the seaside and really like take in all of the energy and kind of like bring it back to LA.
Out of everything you've created, which one are you especially proud of?
Yes, there is a piece I made in 2024. It's called the Pandora vase. It's this vase I made for an exhibition for the PSD Getty. It's the piece that I think it's very important for me because it started to kind of like define my style in a certain way that it's now allowing me to kind of like push my art practice forward.
Hello, Miss Angelica. What is something that you wished someone has told you when you were still a student?
Well, so many things actually, but one in particular I would say is I wish they told me to use all of the equipment that we had in the school when I studied at the Angewandte in Vienna. I studied architecture there, but it's practically it is an art school, and they have like 40 different departments, and each department has their workshops, and they have an amazing set of materials that you can use and machines that you can use, and they teach you how to use all of that. And I wish somebody told me to actually go and use all of those because it would be very helpful for what I'm doing right now.
If all your dreams could come true today, you could do whatever you wanted, no limits. What would you do and where would you go?
I think I would travel for like a long time. I would like to actually, yes, dream, it's there, I have it. I would love to actually go back to Italy for a year. And there is this place which I just visited, is like this little volcanic island, is called Stromboli. There is basically nothing there. Like about 200 people live there throughout the year. And I would love to take my stuff and just move there for an entire year. And they always say the summer is great, the winter is like almost, there are no tourists, no nothing, but I'm actually very curious about both, and that would be definitely a dream.
Thank you for all those thoughtful answers. You want to change gear a little bit? Mm-hmm. Let's do our quick fire round. Quick answers, no overthinking, just use your first instinct to answer the questions.
I'll try my best.
Yeah. Name one exhibition you really recommended.
I would recommend Jasmine Lil at La Loma Project.
Mm-hmm. Name one of your favorite artists.
That's tough. Can I say 4 names? I would say painter Rita Ackerman. I would say Italian artist Maria Lai.
Oh.
I would say novelist and poet, also Italian, Elsa Morante. Contemporary ceramicist Katie Stout.
It must be hard to name only one artist for you.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no way. Our unique strength that women artists have is?
Resilience and perseverance.
Yes, that's also what we're looking for at Hearst Foundation. This year, you're aiming to...
Finishing setting up my studio. I'm still
Nice.
missing a couple of like fundamental equipments, and I'm really hoping to get everything I need so that I can run fully my production in-house, basically.
Hope everything goes well.
Thank you.
And maybe we
Finger
can see your
crossed.
little studio one day.
Yes, would love to.
Yeah. A motto that guides you.
Hope is the last one to die.
Yeah, gotta write it down on my note. Your feeling about this visit is...
I feel grateful, honestly, and I feel very inspired. I think that, you know, experiences like these makes you feeling that you are part of a journey with somebody else. You know, I think that that's one, it's a way that somebody feels supported, is like not feeling alone. And I think what Hearst Foundation is doing, it's something incredible. It's incredible to, you know, give voice to women and have them to express and share what they do. I think it's really important.
Yeah, that's also what you just talked about. Women helping women. This is what exactly what we're doing. Miss Angelica, thank you for visiting and sharing all your stories with us, especially your art journey and your personal story. We're glad to hear all the stories from you to inspire and empower more women in the Hearst Foundation. Keep challenging, keep nurturing. If there is a voice from any field you like to hear, feel free to follow us on Instagram or drop a comment or DM us. We will do our best to make it happen. Until then, stay bold, stay curious. This is Serena, class dismissed. See you next month.